Welcome to the number one friendship podcast in the country. I'm Matt Ritter.
I'm Aaron Karo.
Guys, go to manoftheyear.com, go to YouTube, go to audible.com/the buddy system. We have so much content. There's so much wise advice on how to make friends and maintain friendships. It's going to be very helpful to you to do that. I wanted to dive into a topic that I don't think we've talked about much. Maybe we talked about it a while ago, but I think it's safe to say that both of us have changed in a lot of ways in the past few years. Um, I think mostly healthy, but maybe some negative. You never know. Changes are good and bad. But I don't think we've really delved into the topic of what happens when you change, but your friends don't. Because I feel that there's a lot of versions of our listener questions that are some sort of, the subtext is essentially like, I'm not sure if I should still be friends with these people, or I'm not the same person, but they're pegging me into this box, and, kind of what to do. So I thought we could just kind of talk about what's really going on here, just in general, and how to kind of handle, what happens when you change, right? I think, look, growth is healthy, and everybody's on an individual growth journey. So I heard Simon Sinek say that he thought friendship was when two people agree to grow together, and I totally disagree.
Who is that guy?
I don't know. He's a TED Talk guy, but I totally disagree. I'll tell you why. Because I don't think that it's an agreement to grow together. I think it's an agreement to accept other people's growth and change. I don't think you're required to grow along with your friends. And I think you can maintain friendships when one person's growing in certain ways and the other one isn't. What do you think?
Well, can we talk about the different ways that people grow/change?
Yes.
You of course have getting married and having kids. That's probably one of the
Yeah.
biggest ones. You have getting sober.
Yep.
You have either
Your
I would
values
say maybe
change. Your values can change. Your politics can change. Your financial status can change. Um, Physical fitness priorities. Your sense of humor can change. There's a lot of ways that you can change as a person that might not feel comfortable having the same friend.
Well, it's interesting because are we using grow and change interchangeably? Because they could be different.
Well, your whole thing was like your friends let you grow, not change. I was never in total agreement with that one, because I
Yeah.
think change is what feels threatening to people.
And growth shouldn't.
Well, neither of them should.
Right.
I mean, they just do. Well, because your friendship is a shared story on some level. And so, like, when you're like changing the story or something, it's like you're getting out of what you say you guys are.
It's like when your favorite show, they change the character, they do some weird episode. You're
Right.
like, what the hell?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because part of, the reason I like James Clear is he says, to build good habits, you turn them into an identity, right? So instead of I'm running a marathon, like I'm a marathon runner. And
Right.
then you're part of this thing with other marathon runners, right? So then if you say I'm not a marathon runner anymore, what happens to that friendship,
Right. Right. Because I guess I was thinking like, if your politics change, if your financial situation gets worse, that's not necessarily
Yeah.
a growth. It's not growth related.
Right.
It could just be like shit got fucked up.
Yes, that is true. But my point is that sometimes usually when people are saying, "Hey, I'm worried about my friend group," or I don't know if it fits anymore, it's because something changed. It doesn't necessarily mean growth.
Right. Exactly. It's interesting too, because you always say there's seasons for friendship. When you look at a friendship over the long term, the long tail, there's probably a lot of ups and downs. And as you say, you end up at regressing to the mean over it.
Right. And like when you're talking about growth versus change, like parenting is a good example. I didn't outgrow you because I had a kid. That's a change.
Anyone can have a kid.
Right, exactly. Anyone can have a kid. Uh, but that does obviously mean that, like, okay, so I'm spending more time with parent friends, right? That doesn't, that doesn't necessarily mean your friendship isn't healthy.
Right, right, exactly. It's also a question of like, can you outgrow a friend?
Right. And I think you can. I think a lot of people are waking up to this idea that friendships sometimes are chapters in your life, like
You-
dating.
You're doing a real story analogy thing here.
Well, just because you and I addressed friendship myths a while back, and one of them was that your friends are forever.
Right. Right. I mean, people go. I think they said people go through a new cycle of friends every 7 years.
Right. Right. That seems high.
Um, well, it seems
Yeah.
high for us. Um, I mean, I think a couple things. I mean, it's a two-way street. All right. So let's just take having kids or whatever as an example.
Yeah.
Are pulled in many different directions. You have a new group of friends, just new group of humans,
Right.
literal humans, but also you're doing drop off. You're with
Right.
all these new people. Now, you could either say to yourself, "Well, this guy doesn't get me anymore,"
Right.
or "He doesn't understand," or "I don't have time for him anymore, and that's not important to me."
Right.
Or you could say, "That's a good uh, release valve for my new life that I need a little
Right.
break."
Right.
And I
And I
need to
think our friendship is healthy. I think uh there's still not just time for room. There's still a version of me and Karo that works, even though I have kids. You know what I mean? I think it's more that, right?
Well, I'm thinking. I mean, I'm thinking of like an example where like the single guy is like a real mess,
Then it's a
or a
problem.
real party animal,
Then it's a
you
problem.
know. Like, I mean, I think maybe. Well, I was going to use an example of one person getting sober, but if the other guy's drinking and partying, I could see why you would outgrow them.
Right.
What's
And that
Yeah,
friendship would not serve you if that's
right,
what it's based on. Right. So it's like, do you still belong together? Right. Like in that
yeah.
situation, no. Right. But like, just because somebody has a kid doesn't mean you don't belong as friends anymore.
I'm trying to think of like a more benign,
Yeah.
example where uh maybe someone has a financial, when you change. Okay, let's say you get really into fitness, I guess.
Yeah.
uh you could be around people who aren't into fitness, it's not going to affect you at all. But if
Totally.
someone
Totally.
yeah,
Totally. That's a good one. That's a good one. That doesn't mean you have to cut this person out of your life because they're not into fitness. That's a good like benign example that proves that just because you change doesn't mean a friendship has to be excised from your life because you have a new part of your life that matters to you.
what if you're in, like, I don't know, they want to do, they want to party hard, and you still drink, you're not sober, but like that, you're not as into that anymore.
Well, so here's what I think about, this is why I think Simon got it wrong when he said, friendship is an agreement to grow together. I think a friendship is an agreement to be flexible.
Okay. Yes.
Meaning your friendship doesn't always stay static because people are going through changes. So
Oh
I think a
yeah.
friendship is an agreement to accept those changes, so long as the values are still aligned, or some of them.
Yeah, I mean, also we should say this is going to happen to every single one of your friendships in your
Yes.
life. That's just how life goes. You go through changes. It's the same thing if someone's going
Right.
through a bereavement or a pregnancy or a unemployment
Well,
or
that's
a
why
new
I like
job.
the seasons for friendship idea, where if you just go, okay, well, maybe this isn't our season right now, it also gives you some distance, like in a way that's fine, to then go, okay, actually, it turns out we weren't meant to be friends or whatever. Like you can have that reflection without going, I'm cutting this person out of my life. They don't drink,
Sometimes,
or I drink, or I don't drink, they drink. I can't be friends with this person ever again. You could just say right now, this isn't the season because I'm getting this new clarity on who I want to be. And right now, this is what's healthy for me.
what our friend Lindsay always says. She goes like, "Well, he's on that journey right now,
Yeah.
and I support it.
Yeah.
And they'll be back or they won't be back, but like, it's not personal.
Yeah.
Um, and as long as as long as they're not like becoming I mean, it's going the other way where they're a drug addict and like you would need to intervene. I think it's okay.
Here's
I
the
mean,
other
listen,
point. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Well, unless you have a friend who, okay, let's say when I got super into CrossFit and I started hanging out with those guys, and then I never hung out with you because I'm like, I got new friends now. Well, that's not cool.
No. Well, that's why I'm saying you have to figure out how your friend still fits in your life if you want them to, because you can
Right.
do it if you want to do it. If you actually value the friendship, there are ways to fit a friend into your life, whether it's fitness, sobriety, kids, blah, 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 blah. And it's not about quantity of time.
Yeah.
Separate from that, I wanted to ask about this version of it. What about just the enjoyment levels not there anymore?
Right. Yeah, a more amorphous drift is what you're
Yeah, because
saying.
I do feel there's a lot of that happening. Or people are just like, this isn't as fun as it used to be. I'm not sure I enjoy it. I'm not sure we have a lot to talk about, and I'm just not feeling it. Right? Like, what can we say about just? It just feels like there's not a lack. There's a lack of compatibility anymore.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's valid. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. It's pretty common.
Yeah.
Me, I'm always about like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not. I wish I had a good
Yeah.
line. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not stealing it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like just don't hang out with him anymore. Obviously, that's a little too black and white.
Yeah.
I think first of all, some introspection is um, called for here. Like, what is it? Me? Is it them? Is it both of us? Is it a season? Was it a moment?
Right. It is good to go assess, and this is why we talked about doing these assessments of your friendships periodically, once a year. It's a
Hmm.
good time to go, is this serving me? Are we even friends anymore? Or do I enjoy it? Do I get energized by it? Is it the wrong season for this friendship? These questions are ones you should be asking when you hang out with somebody multiple times and something is off. Right? If it doesn't fit into any of the buckets we're talking about, it's like, okay, so
Yeah.
do an examination.
Just because we haven't talked about it in a while, Matt is referring to social universe, or I think we call it social inventory, which is
Yeah.
basically like once a year on my birthday, if I'm emailing people to get together at a bar, I just keep that list and I have the list from every year. So it's my
Yeah.
social universe, who all
Okay.
my friends are.
That's cool.
And then I look at it the next year, I go, oh, I haven't talked to this person in a year. Uh, Either they're out or I need to re engage.
It's very healthy to do. It's very healthy to do.
Yeah, when I tell people I have a spreadsheet of all my friends, they always say, "Oh,
I
that's so healthy."
know. I know. They go, what a psycho. What a
Yeah.
psycho. Yeah. Can we get into the listener question? Because I think it's going to touch on something interesting too.
All right, guys, we will be right back with a listener question. Okay, this is asking for a friend. Guys, if you have a friendship question or ethical dilemma, send it to us on Instagram. Our handle is Man of the Year Podcast. And we'll answer it on the show and we can keep it anonymous if you want.
So I think you're going to
Oh,
like this
sorry,
one
Matt,
because
take it away.
I don't think we've actually gotten a question like this. Hey, Matt and Karo, love the pod. Have a question about friendships that aren't working for me. I'm a little bored of my friends, but if I step back from these friendships, I'm scared I won't replace them. Is it better to stay in blah friendships than risk having none?
Hmm.
Good question, right?
Well, what do you think that I'm going to say?
I think you're going to say, don't stay in the friendship if it's not serving you.
Let's make some new friends while we've still got the blah friends.
Right. It's like don't quit your job. I always tell these people as a recruiter, I always tell candidates,
Yeah.
never ever quit your job while you don't have one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I think that's
Is
uh,
that what you think?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
So here's what I
We
here's what I think. I think you're right in some way, but I do believe, and tell me if you agree with this. I do believe that a lot of us hang on to unhealthy friendships, and the moment we cut them off, truly cut the cord, we open up our world for new friendships that end up filling it in a healthy way.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's just like breaking up with a romantic relationship or
No, but I've always found in my own life and a lot of people that I talk to, when they finally do that, suddenly somebody comes along and, that space, they have room now. They have
right.
room now for a healthy friendship.
Out of curiosity, is there ever a time someone should quit their job before they have a new one?
I mean, yes, if you're so miserable and it's costing you your mental health and you
Right.
cannot, like I do believe that. But if you're fine, I always say, can you stick it out until we get you another job?
Right.
Then we got to do that.
Do people care anymore on
Yes.
LinkedIn or what? I didn't even finish what I was saying.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, do they care if you're not currently employed? Yes.
Yeah, if there's a 3 month gap in your whatever.
Yeah. Well, in big law, yes.
Wow.
Still a big problem.
Wow.
I'm not saying I agree that it should be. I'm
Yeah.
just saying current hiring still frowns upon it.
What was your stand-up bit about having a gap on your resume?
I said, if anyone ever asks about that 5-year gap in the resume, take a deep breath, you look them right in the eye, and you say, I was in a coma.
I was in a coma, right? I was in a coma.
But
Yeah.
my wife read to me every day from the ABA journal, so I'm fully up on my case law. She had Alexa's
um,
password. Okay, so back to right, this idea that should you dump your friends before making new ones?
well, the other thing is that you don't really need to dump friends.
Right, right,
So,
right,
you're not actually going to be doing it unless you're seeing them every day or every week. You're just going to explore all of our tips and hacks for making a new friend while these other people are around.
right. Your friends aren't gonna know that you're like out
Right.
seeking new friends. It's not like when you're in a relationship, if you're sneaking around on Tinder, Grinder, or whatever, you could be out
Yeah.
there like, making
We've
new
never
friends. They wouldn't even
we've
know.
never talked about cheating,
Cheating on your
friendship
friends,
cheating. Yeah.
friendship cheating. I do think people get very territorial when they see, their friends. We should do a whole episode about that because that's like a completely interesting thing that I think happens. Um, right. So you're allowed to change without telling your friends. You're allowed to source new friends without their permission, right? Is that's
Yeah. Well, of course you don't need their permission. I mean, I
right?
think I think what the question asker is sort of saying is, you know, I'm just going to kind of cold turkey ditch these guys, but then I just will have nobody. And I think that's fair. You and I have said in the past, this was often in the context of you moving to a new city.
Yep.
Oh, and you meet someone and you have any friends and you meet someone, they're like, okay. And
Yep.
you and I are always like, that's fine. Just
Yeah.
like get a toe hold, have someone to do
Yeah.
stuff with.
Right. I don't think there's anything wrong. I guess what we're saying is that you don't have to feel guilty about staying in a blah friendship as you have gained clarity and then seek out other friends.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, well, we should take a trademark step back.
Yeah.
Why do you feel blah with these friends?
Yes.
Like, what are you feeling? Is it something going on and you're projecting upon them? Is something going on with them that is leaking into the friendship? Are you misinterpreting what's happening? Are you bored? Do you have mono?
Right. Because is there a way, and I don't know if we ever did this topic. Is there a way to reinvigorate friendships, stale friendships, right? A lot of long-term friendships sometimes get a little routine, right? And we've talked about ways to level up friendships, but also works for stale ones. But like, hey, let's get out of our norm hang routine. Let's go, do a wine tasting. Let's go, on a little adventure, even if it's in town.
I've got one word for you. Jacksonville.
Mm.
We just did a boys trip and we still talk about it. It was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that really reinvigorated. Having something exciting on the calendar uh, brings you together for sure. Always, we know that. But yes, I mean, look, even good friendships can get boring, can't they?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the same thing as in a romantic relationship. You got to spice things up. You got to put a
Yeah,
little, what's friendship lingerie?
right. Uh, courtside tickets to the Lakers,
Yeah, exactly. Or a little weekend trip, a little day trip.
Coachella, Stagecoach.
Um, wait, what was this gonna say? Friendship lingerie. But we should be clear that like you're gonna have to do it. Like you have to be the friend. Like you're not gonna wait for them to plan the trip.
Right,
Um,
right. If you want to see if these friendships can be improved.
right, right. I would give it one more because what did they say about? They said bored.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, hell, maybe they're saying the same thing about you.
totally, totally. And look, I think we talked about this. Like, guys don't necessarily usually have falling outs, if falling offs. We don't necessarily need closure on a lot of this stuff. It doesn't always need
Mhm.
like we're no longer friends anymore. Drift isn't like some sort of disrespect.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Let's say the guy decides, you know what, I don't really want to hang out with these people anymore. Is it so bad to have a moment of fallowness?
No, I was gonna say because you immediately actually that's what I wanted to get into on this answer. I was gonna say, let's look at it the other way. As I said about the, when you break up with a friend, sometimes somebody enters the picture, but they don't usually enter the picture right away. If you
Right.
end a friendship with a close friend, you're not going to replace them next week. You are going to go through a fallow period
Mm,
of friendship at that level. If you stop hanging out with your friends of 20 years because it's just not serving you, fine, that's okay. But there's no way my new dad friends are suddenly going to replace that.
right.
It takes
And
time.
yeah, and it's okay. And listen, a little me time
Yeah.
is called for. Treat yourself.
Yeah. And again, there's also the bigger issue of, social fitness isn't just your best friends, it's your outer ring, your acquaintances, and maybe there's an opportunity to level somebody up there or just even appreciate that a little bit. When you step back from some friendships, you start looking around at everybody else, go, oh, maybe I want to spend time with this person or that person.
Also, you get to do it's like, again, just like getting out of a relationship. You get to do all the things that your friends don't like to do, or they
Yeah,
made fun of you for, or they didn't
right.
have the money for. You just fucking do it.
Yeah. And I also sometimes, we talked about friendship dynamics a couple weeks ago. What's the ideal number? And maybe it's just you're not loving the group, or maybe there's one person that we don't know because you're not giving us enough. But when somebody says, hey, I'm just not feeling my entire group of friends, maybe you've changed, right? And they haven't, or
Yeah.
maybe some of them have changed. And just when you guys go to a sports bar together, it's feeling very blah, and you're not really digging below the surface of maybe somebody else is also feeling that and you wouldn't know, right? It's like maybe you two could break off and be in a different phase.
Well, didn't we do an episode about you were the five people, the average of the five people,
It
or
is a
whatever?
reflection. I mean, your friends are a
Yeah.
reflection of you in some
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
So if you're not that person anymore, then yeah, of course you need some friends to reflect the new you. But I've always felt like, the influencer bro culture is like you just need people who level up with you. Like I just don't agree with that too. It's okay to have a friend who's like what was the episode we called them? Useless friends.
Useless friends. Right. Someone got
I'm
mad at us in the comments.
Yeah, yeah. I'm all about the feel good test. If your friends make you feel good, great, keep them. Whether or not they are leveling up or crushing it or not.
Right. Right. Yeah. I listen, I think that it's good that this person's even asking the question. They're striving, aspiring to have a better friend group. It's great.
Well, again, it goes back to this myth, right? I think it was myth number one that whoever you're friends with, that's who you're friends with your whole life.
Right.
So, yes, but also maybe use some of the data on what hasn't worked in these friendships in seeking new friendships or, new dynamics.
Maybe we had another friendship myth where it's not okay to not have a group of close friends at all times.
I think that's huge. Say that again.
The myth would be it's not okay to not have a group of close friends at all time.
Right. It is okay to not have a close group of friends at all times.
Right.
It's okay to have no friends at some points. It's okay to have one or two. It's okay to have a lot of friends, too many sometimes, because we are always changing and evolving. And so, especially in the age of social media and everything looks better, grass is always greener. Everybody looks like they're having a thriving social circle, and you're going, oh man, I need this giant social circle. No, you don't.
Yeah. You need a social, I don't know, what's smaller than a circle?
Triangle. You need one or two friends. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have one or two friends and you have the other things, which is the outer rings, and you get out of your house and you say hi to people at coffee or you play pickleball twice a week or you go to the gym, it's
Right.
this overall social fitness. And you call your old friends once a month. We said
Yeah.
TCS, text, call, see. You're maintaining consistent communication with people. Maybe two friends is plenty in that moment, but maybe sometimes you need a group because you're feeling like you want some ruckus dinner parties and you're lacking in that.
Yeah. I think you cause a ruckus, but the party would be raucous.
Raucous, raucous. Oh, you want to hear something amazing? Brenner now has an accent.
Okay.
He goes, Dad, yeah. We don't know, we don't know where it came from. And he goes, come here, come here, come here. We're like, what is it? What is it? It's like an old timey guy. Yeah, yeah.
He's got like a cartoon, like it's like an old school, like that's so funny.
Yeah, I don't know where he picked it up. It's the funniest thing. Anyway, did we answer this?
I think we did. I think we gave them a lot to think about.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was asking for a friend. If you have a friendship question, send it to us on Instagram. Okay, as we wrap up here, anything else about how about when you're the friend and you recognize somebody else changing or drifting?
Right, and that goes back to why I'm trying to debunk Simon Sinek's like friendship is an agreement to grow together. Like if your
Right.
friend's growing, you can just support their growth or not resist it.
Not resist it, and it's okay if they're not. Is it okay if they're not growing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's okay to have friends that don't grow with you. If you're growing and your friends aren't, like I definitely have some friends that I enjoy their company and I just don't see them leveling up in the ways that I'm trying to level up. And they probably see me as not leveling up in the way, that's the thing about growth. Everybody has a different version of what it is.
You know what it's called when you see one of your buddies kind of changing for the better and leveling up and you're supporting that? We call that growth.
Growth. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. But yes, I really want to emphasize you do not need to grow. You don't both need to be crushing it or you don't both need to be sober. I just think you should not be resistant to your friend's growth. That's when a friendship isn't going to work.
Listen, if your bro flies away and he never comes back, he wasn't your bro to begin with. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, I think that's right.
But if he does come back, then you were bros forever. Then you're best friends forever.
Or you keep him chained in the basement, never going anywhere.
I would love to hear from our listeners of kind of stories of either you outgrowing your friends, quote, outgrowing your friends, or your friends outgrowing you, and like what happened.
We've all been outgrown and we've all outgrown.
Listen, we will. At the end of the day, you always get like life is undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a too morbid of a note?
No, it's great. Life is undefeated. So roll with it.
I love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Always remember, be good to yourself, be good to your friends. Love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.